The loud hum of the airport surrounded me like a wave of noise rolling suitcases, overhead announcements, laughter from families heading on vacation. But I wasn't laughing. I stood there, holding my small, scuffed suitcase and staring at the screen flashing in bold red letters. Flight canceled. My chest tightened. This was supposed to be my one chance, my ticket out of the life I'd been quietly enduring for years. I was heading to a tech conference in Singapore, hoping to find investors for my tiny startup. But now, that hope seemed to vanish into the static air. I checked my phone, praying for some good news. Instead, I saw two new messages. The first one was from Mom. "Have fun walking home, loser." The second was from Dad. "Stop pretending to be poor and just take a bus like you should." My fingers froze over the screen. It wasn't the first time they'd mocked me. They'd always seen me as the disappointment, the daughter who didn't follow their plan, who refused to work in the family's business empire and instead chose to build something of her own. I wanted to reply. I wanted to defend myself, to scream that I wasn't lazy, that I was trying. But instead, I locked the phone, took a deep breath, and walked out of the airport. The cold wind hit my face. My eyes burned not from the wind, but from the memories. Every insult, every laugh, every dinner where they compared me to my cousins who had expensive cars and even more expensive egos. They thought I was weak. But that day, standing outside the airport with my canceled ticket, something inside me shifted. I wasn't weak. I was waiting for my moment. 2 years earlier, 2 years before that humiliating day, I was a university student who could barely afford rent. But I had one thing, an idea. Whenever I traveled, I noticed how frustrating it was for people to get refunds for canceled or delayed flights. Airlines made the process complicated. People just gave up. So I thought, what if there was an app that did it all for them? That was how Refundees was born, a simple app designed to help travelers get their refunds automatically. My parents laughed when I told them, "Refunds? That's not a business, that's charity." My friends stopped inviting me out because I was always working. Days turned into nights, and nights turned into months of coding, testing, failing, and starting again. Every failure hurt, but each one taught me something. I had no investors, no support, just an old laptop, a notebook filled with dreams, and a heart that refused to give up. I didn't want revenge. I wanted freedom. Back to the airport day. That night, after walking home from the airport, I sat down at my desk. My laptop screen lit up the dark room. I opened my app analytics and froze. A notification popped up. 1 million users reached. A second notification appeared right after. Investment offer confirmed. $42 million funding secured. I covered my mouth, tears spilling down my face. The world that had laughed at me, the one that said I was wasting my time, suddenly felt very small. That canceled flight didn't end my journey. It started it. 3 weeks later, I picked up the phone and called an office in New York. "Hello," I said, my voice steady. "This is Aisha Khan, CEO of Refundees. I'd like to discuss purchasing a controlling share in your airline." There was silence on the other end. The same airline that had canceled my ticket, now I was buying part of it. The paperwork took weeks, but eventually it was done. My name was now listed as one of the major shareholders of Skywings Airlines. A week later, my family group chat buzzed. "Mom, Aisha, are you in the news?" "Dad, wait, you own Skywings Airlines." I replied with just one line. "Guess the bus didn't come." No one said a word after that. 6 months later, the press conference. The conference room was packed. Cameras clicked, reporters whispered. I walked onto the stage in a white suit, holding the microphone. As the flashes lit up my face, I spotted them, my parents, sitting quietly in the front row. Mom's face was pale. Dad's hands were clasped together, their pride replaced with silence. I smiled, not out of arrogance, but peace. Then I said, 2 years ago, my ticket was canceled, and everyone laughed. Today, I'm standing here to tell you sometimes life cancels your plans because it's preparing a bigger journey for you. Success doesn't belong to the lucky or the wealthy. It belongs to those who keep believing when no one else does. The room erupted in applause. But in that moment, I didn't hear it. All I could hear was the echo of my own heart, calm, steady, free. I didn't cut my parents off. I forgave them. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what they did, it means freeing yourself from their shadow. Sometimes I visit that same airport where it all began. I sit quietly, watching travelers rush to their gates, holding their tickets like lifelines. And I smile, because I know if that ticket hadn't been canceled, if my family hadn't mocked me, if I hadn't walked home that night, I would have never